Welcome back to another episode of the Left Turn Cult. Today we are joined here with a very special guest. He is the driver of the iconic number 43 with Richard Petty Motorsports, Erik Jones.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. Erik, here's a few fun facts about him. He is a rookie of the year 3 times in the Truck Series, the Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series, back to back to back years, which has never been done before. And he also won the Truck Series championship his rookie year, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was well, really a quick climb through the ladder, I guess. We kind of always go Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup, and then I came in 2013 part-time and went full-time in 2015 in the Truck Series, and only spent a year in Trucks and Xfinity, and then went on to Cup. So it was quick. It feels like it went by pretty fast, and really, we won the Truck Championship, I guess, in 2015, and it doesn't feel like 6 years ago, but it was a cool year.
I'm telling, it's like the last 6 or so years were just a blink of an eye. Every day there's just something small that I'm like, man, that was just last year, and it was 2014.
Yeah, it feels the same for me. I mean, I graduated in 2014 from high school, and I was already racing part-time for the Truck Series for Kyle Busch Motorsports at that point. And I went full-time the next year in trucks, and it was just full throttle from there. I never really have slowed down since then. I've been running a lot of races every year, and it's been going by pretty fast, but it's been fun.
Yeah. So what, you're 24, 25, because me and Jacob graduated in 2016, so you're not too much older. Damn, that's cool. Props to you.
Yeah, I'll be 25 next month.
Yeah, well, happy early birthday. You're killing it out there.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
I'm the papaw of the group. I'm sitting here 25 already.
There you go. Leading the charge.
All right. So speaking of moving fast through, obviously you changed teams this year. How has the transition been going from a full capacity team like JGR down to a single car team like Petty Motorsports? How has that been for you?
Yeah, it's been a lot different. I spent about 3 years over at JGR, 1 year at Furniture Row, and going from 4 to just 1 has been a lot different. We have an alliance with Richard Childress Racing, so we do share some information there, so that makes things a little bit easier, but it is still really a single car team. We're only working on our deal, which I've enjoyed this year. It's really been a different mentality, but it's really been a lot of fun for me. I feel like I have a lot of input and control over kind of the direction that we go. Obviously there's nobody else that is leading that charge, so we go whichever way we think is going to work best for us. So that's been the part that I've really enjoyed about it.
How has the limited practicing affected you going to a new team? Do you think that's kind of like maybe slowed anything down, or what?
Well, I think it's definitely hindered us at some places more than others. We've ran good a few times this year. We've had some top tens, but we go to some of these places. I think Martinsville is a great example. And we had a mechanical failure at the end of the day, but still didn't feel like we were exactly where we wanted to be handling wise. So, obviously practice is a big part of that. And I feel like the short tracks are the places that it hurts the most. When we go to those tracks, handling is key, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't have the time to adjust on that. It's kind of a roll of dice. You got a 50-50 shot when you come off the truck, and it's either going to be good or bad. And it's hard to kind of come back from that if you aren't where you want to be.
Sweet. I'm going to let the other guys ask a few questions. I don't want to hog up all their time. So, Coop or Parv, go ahead.
All right. Hey, Erik. So the 43 being one of the most iconic cars in the history of motorsports, how much added pressure, if any, do you feel being a part of the 43 car?
Well, I don't know if it's a whole lot. I think overall, I've always put a lot of pressure on myself to perform. I think we're all pretty competitive at this level. As drivers, we all want to go out and win and run well and run up front. So for me, it's more just wanting to perform for my own expectations and perform for the team. Obviously we get pretty close with the team guys, and they really put the hard work in. I mean, I get to show up and drive the car on Sundays, which is awesome, but those guys are in the shop every day during the week. and then coming to the racetrack on the weekends and then going back in. So they don't really have any days off. So you want to go out and do well for them and perform for them and make sure you're running up front. But I guess there is some weight that comes with the number. I guess looking for me, the fan base is just huge. There's so many Richard Petty fans out there, and I've seen so much of that on social media. Obviously, there's not fans of the track, but just the support that they've brought. You want to perform for them. You don't want to go out and do well and have their car run well. So, you do feel that somewhat.
So you had kind of touched on it. Maybe, short tracks a little harder because you got to worry about how, you take the turns and everything. So each season, what is a track that you look forward to just in the Cup Series since you've been there for a couple of years? What's a track that you go to and you feel confident? I love this track. It's the best. Which one?
There's two for me. Every time we go to Bristol and Darlington, those are the two places that I love to go. And Darlington's been a great track for me. We won the Southern 500 there a couple of years ago, and that was awesome. But Bristol's another one where I feel really comfortable just being able to go and just know, not only feel comfortable driving the track, but just know really well what I need my car to do. I have a really easy time just telling Jerry, my crew chief, what adjustments I need and how the car needs to drive to win the race. It's not always about being the fastest early in the run. It's how your car drives at the end of the day. And I feel like those places I have a really good idea of what I need my stuff to do there.
Yeah, we're actually East Tennessee boys, so like Bristol's only 40 minutes away from us. So Bristol Motor Speedway's our track. And what do you prefer? Do you prefer the day race, the night race? Which one just gives you like full capacity? You got all the fans there. Which one are you looking forward to?
The night race for sure.
Oh.
I mean, that one's the one. If anybody ever asked me if they can go to it or what race they should go to, I ask them if they've ever been to the Bristol night race, and if they haven't, I tell them to go. There's nothing cooler, and I hope we can get pretty good capacity in the fall, because when that place is packed out for the night race, there's really nothing like it.
Fingers crossed, man.
So
sure. You would, like I said, you had touched on it. Maybe Martinsville was kind of hard, just the shorter tracks. Is there a track that you go to and you're just like, man, here we go? Like
Martinsville is that track for me. It's always just been tough. I've raced there. Actually, I went there in 2013 for the first time, and in the truck series, and it's just been a tough place, right from the start for me. But I would say probably the most challenging place physically is the road courses. Anytime we go to those, not only you're doing a lot of work in the car between shifting and braking and all that stuff, but you're using a lot of muscles you don't normally use, right? I mean, we turn left 90% of the season. So when we go and we start flipping the right-handers, you're using a lot of stuff that you don't normally use in your body. No matter how much you work out or prepare, there's just muscles you can't really, train to get used to it until you're actually out there doing it. So that's what makes it so hard for me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Erik, what's up, man? Glad to have you here. Of course. Now I got a question for you, man. First of all, I got to talk about that Todd car. I couldn't let you go without talking about that Todd car, man. That was the coolest fire suit I've ever seen. I was watching it on TV. I seen it. I was like, that car, I hope it runs again this season. But that being said, so you got the rest of the season coming at you. What would it mean to bring a victory home with this team, and what track are you as a team really looking at, or multiple tracks to bring home that trophy for you?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be huge. The last time that the 43 was in Victory Lane was 2014, I think. It might have been a little bit longer ago than that, but it'd be huge. I mean, that's what the guys all want, and we know we're capable of it, and we just have to really hit it right. We don't have all the resources that some of the big teams have, but we've got really good people, and we've got really equipment that's good enough to go out and win races. And I know that if we can hit it right and take advantage of the situation, we can go do it. But as far as tracks we've got circled, I mean, obviously the super speedways are always a great equalizer and a great event, or chance to win for anybody. But beyond those, I look at like I mentioned, Darlington, Bristol, those two places, the Bristol Dirt. I kind of throw that one out a little bit. We didn't really have anything going into that for experience, but definitely going back in the fall for a normal Bristol, I think we'll run really well. And the 43s ran well at Bristol in the past too. But definitely excited for Darlington. I feel like I really have a good feel at that place. And if we can go there and the car is close when we start the race off, I think we're going to have a good shot there.
Heck yeah, man. Well, I'm putting money on you for Talladega, so I hope you get it, man. For me and your sake both.
That sounds good to me. Thank you.
I think if there's anybody to bet on at a super speedway, Eric brought one of the most beat up cars to victory lane that I've ever seen before.
Yeah,
At-
that was an interesting race. It was funny. I knew right away. I'm like, man, this is one that people aren't going to forget for a long time. So we got that going for us.
Oh yeah, and I think that's the best die cast that's ever been released. The raced version, so
Yeah,
cool.
The first thing I saw on Twitter was all the people excited about the race version diecast. You know, a lot of times you get the race version, the cars are pretty clean, right? Nobody wants to order that, but it was probably the most beat up car that's been to victory lane. So they did a good job with it.
Oh, sorry, man. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jacob.
It reminded me of Pearson pulling into victory lane after the 500 is what it reminded me of.
Yeah, the year him and Richard Petty.
Richard, yeah.
Line. Yeah, he was in that one.
How hard is that to hold on to? That car running 190 miles per hour, how with that much damage, how rough is it to hold on to that?
You know, it was funny. The car was it was really slow, but it drove really well. Actually, you know, all the damage was kind of in the front and really had a little bit of damage on the side, but the spoiler was still intact. The splitter was actually still pretty intact. So I still had pretty good downforce. And the thing was, I remember we fell to the back there taking the white, and the 11 car came up and started pushing us. And I'm like, man, I don't know if we're ever going to be going fast enough to even catch these guys. You know, we were so slow that the nose had so much damage. It was like just a tank pushing through the air. So it took us a solid half a track to finally get enough speed where we started running them down, even with, you know, Denny pushing me as hard as he could. But like I said, it drove surprisingly well. If anything, it was just hard to see. The hood was pushed so far up, I couldn't really see where I was going that well.
Oh yeah, I couldn't imagine. Was that the most messed up car that you had ever driven to that point?
To victory lane, yeah, for sure. I've had a couple of cars that looked a little rough in victory lane. We've won a Bristol race with a pretty beat up Xfinity car one time, but definitely it wasn't anything close to that.
So I've got another question for you. So you know how often on the field you kind of have like friendships, teammates, not even if they're not a teammate. I mean, they could run a Toyota, you never know. So you have like Bubba Wallace and Ryan Blaney, they're pretty good friends. Who is your go-to guy? Like you run a race, you're sitting in the hauler, you're just calling someone up, you're walking over to him. Do you have a guy that's like your buddy that we don't even know about?
Yeah, I would say I'm probably closest with William Byron and Cole Custer. I've gotten to know those guys pretty well over the last really 4 or 5 years. We've been racing in similar stuff. Custer and I were in it's not even around anymore. It was called NASCAR Next a few years back. If anyone remembers that, we were in that together. So we got to know each other there. And then William, I got to know him through a mutual friend a few years back. So those guys are definitely the guys I know the best.
Cool. Appreciate that.
Well, man, I don't want to keep you too long. I really do appreciate you stopping by and answering these questions for us. I think this goes without being said from everybody. We wish you the best luck this year. Of course, everybody wants to see that 43 do well every single week. So hey, just keep doing what you're doing, man.
Sounds good. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for
Appreciate
coming
you,
on.
buddy.
Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.
You too. Take care.